Okay, welcome everybody. Let's get this show started today. I'm Sal Pizarro, your president, and I'd like to welcome you to the 5,384th meeting of the Rotary Club of San Jose. Worth cheering. Let's thank the Fun and Friendship Committee, chaired by Douglas Smith, for greeting us in the lobby today. And a couple of quick announcements before we introduce people. Someone left their parking ticket over by the food line. This is like the raffle over at the gala. I'm gonna read the number, 9CXZ673. If your license plate number is 9CXZ673, you can come pick this up. But you win nothing. Christine Burrows. Okay, well, you get to get out. We'd also like to welcome back, I'd like to welcome back Michael Conniff from his journeys throughout the world lecturing. He brought back, I don't know if you can see this, a postcard from southern Brazil of a structure here with the rotary wheel right up here on top. If you want to take a look at that, you can a little later. And so we're adding something to our meetings and a lot of our things. We're going to be rolling this out slowly. As you know, we started a DEI initiative last year. We've had both a committee and a board committee working on this for the past year, and we've made some progress, and we're starting to roll some of these things out. One of them is this commitment to diversity, which will be putting on a lot of our materials, having it represented and included in some way at our events. I will read it to you quickly. At Rotary, we are committed to treating everyone with dignity and respect, allowing everyone's voice to be heard, and providing equitable opportunities for fellowship, service, and leadership. This is adapted from Rotary International's own commitment to diversity, and we will be sharing more of that with you in the coming weeks and months. Okay, so let's have our red badgers with the traveling microphones introduce themselves. I think we've got them in the back here. Why don't we start with you, Jay?
I'm Jay Corbett. I work at Google, and my sponsor is James Williams.
Great. Thank you, Jay. And Lauren.
Hi, everyone. Hi, everyone. I'm Anna Rudell from Lukahi Acupuncture. My sponsor is Karen Philbrick.
Great to have you here, Anna. Okay, so if Rotarians, visiting Rotarians or Rotarians with guests could please stand so we could get you introduced. And we're going to start right over here with our friends from Oakland.
Good afternoon, San Jose. I'm Shannon Hackley from the Rotary Club of Oakland. I'm the president-elect after 35 years in that club. Pleasure to be here.
Great to have you.
And thank you for having me. I'm Tom Limon. I'm the president-elect of Oakland Rotary number 3. I was here for the big club conference and was so impressed, but I would have joined your club, but I'm about an hour away. And President Pizarro, I come bearing gifts.
Oh.
So here you go. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. Well, I'll grab that from you later and get one for you.
Hello, everyone. Hi, President Sal. I'm Catherine Lindo. This is my guest, Alexandra Stein. She works with Ritchie Commercial Real Estate Brokerage. She is also a mother of 3. They constantly use the Rotary Playground. Mm-hmm. She's also an active member of the C100 group for the San Jose Museum of Art, which is how we met. And she is interested in helping the underprivileged and underused parts of the community. Yeah.
Wonderful. Great to have you here, Alexandra.
Good afternoon, President Sal. I'm pleased to introduce again Megan Tonisgetter, the CEO of the Tonisgetter Company, and this is her. She's been here several times.
You're welcome anytime, Megan.
Hello, President Sal. Jennifer Simmons.
Okay.
I'd like to introduce my guest and friend, Brian Carey, who works with Wells Fargo.
Wonderful. Great to have you here, Brian. Any more? Oh.
Hey, President Sal, our speaker has a number of guests here to support her today, and I'd like to have them introduce themselves.
Okay.
Good afternoon. My name is A.J. Elias, and I'm the head of retail delivery with Meriwest Credit Union. Super excited to be here.
Great to have you here.
Good afternoon. My name is Helen Grace Jones, and I'm the Community Relations Manager for Meriwest Credit Union. Thankful to be here today.
Hello, my name is Kelly Nguyen. I'm the branch manager here at the Chesbro office in San Jose with Meriwest Credit Union. It's my second time being here. I'm very excited.
Hello, San Jose. My name is Ian Fu. I'm the head of wealth management at Meriwest. Excited to be here with all of you today.
Good afternoon, San Jose. I'm Jeff Barnes, and I'm the Chief Lending Officer at Meriwest Credit Union.
You were introducing later. All right. Well, welcome to everyone, all the visiting Rotarians, guests, and of course, all those joining us on Zoom today. At this time, I do have some sad news to share. Leslie Mayer passed away on Saturday. As some of you know, she suffered a fall in December following our holiday luncheon, and she never fully recovered from that and had a number of complications and passed away on Saturday, as I said. A eulogy will be scheduled for a later date, but all of our thoughts are with Rodney and her friends and family, including many of us here. I'm going to ring the bell for a moment of silence in her memory. Okay, let's move on. We've got a new member introduction, so I'd like to ask Finn Jensen to come up and bring our newest Rotary Club member to the stage. Finn, welcome.
It's a pleasure to introduce Tony Murabito, who has been a member of our community, was born and raised here in San Jose, and after his family moved here from Chicago in 1958, his father was a pharmacist in Willow Glen. Tony has the distinction of having been the very first male baby born at Good Samaritan Hospital. He graduated from Bellarmine and he graduated from Bellarmine and Santa Clara University with a degree in electrical engineering and later with a law degree emphasizing intellectual property. He later started Marabito, Howe, and Barnes, that specializes in making, mainly in patent law prosecutions. He married his college sweetheart, Karen Figaro, a fellow graduate of Santa Clara University Law School. She is a deputy city attorney for the city of San Jose, specializing in bond transactions. They live in Dry Creek and built a large home on the Lay Estate. They also have a beach house in Aptos and enjoy beach walks and driving their dune buggies around town on the weekends. Now, John Ball, his co-sponsor, and I feel that Tony will be an outstanding contributor to any committee that he decides to join, and that you will want to meet him. Let's welcome Tony.
Thank you very much for that. And thank you, Finn Jensen and John Ball, for sponsoring me. As a native of San Jose and as a San Jose business owner for 30 years, I'm very excited to be a part of Rotary San Jose. I've only been a member since January, but yet I'm very impressed by the commitment to service and commitment to leadership shown by not only the members here, but also the staff. And I look forward to contributing and being an active member in this great group. So thank you very much.
Move over this one so we can get away from the screen. Congratulations, Tony, but we aren't done yet. One of our favorite recruiters, Rod Dierdon's going to come up and introduce us to another new member. Come on up, Rod, and bring our newest member.
Mr. President, this is a unique new member. If any of us had the trials that she's gone through, we would be better people if we could have survived. She grew up in China. Her parents were intellectually involved people, both having received masters in the United States before going back to China. They taught her to understand to study. When she was in the process of her junior high school, Mao won the control of China and sent all of the intellectually involved individuals back to retraining, including this tiny little young lady who was taken away from her parents and sent to a retraining camp 1,000 miles away from her parents and her hometown. She got through that. And she studied on the side. And she came back after years of involvement in the retraining programs and acting as a country doctor. And then she studied in the textbooks, reading by herself, and learned enough to pass the GED in the United States, and then got a scholarship to the University of Washington. I'm sorry. Washington State. I'm sorry, Larry. I'm sorry. But she got a scholarship to Washington State, worked all the way up through her PhD, accomplished a couple of different postdoc responsibilities, and then became the director of her laboratories for a full career. She's down here now following her children in her retirement, and her children are a doctor and a high-tech worker, and she has been attracted to Rotary because she wants to fight climate change, and she's become a member of our climate change committee. One of her favorite things to do, unique, is singing opera, which we'll hear later on. So please welcome Dr. Kai Kai Wu.
Thank you. In 1988, I came from China to University of Washington in Seattle for a PhD in chemistry. And before that, I had 9 years of experience in environmental labs and some translation work for US environmental regulations. And also I had a master's degree in environmental chemistry. So I thought I would love to continue to work in that field in the US after graduation, right? That's a big dream. However, different doors opened for me. Instead, I work in the field of clinical chemistry. That's where I became like associate lab director and lab management, and until my retirement in mid-2021. So that beautiful dream of working in the environmental science field here was gone long time ago. In November 21, I moved to San Jose to join my adult children in the Bay Area. As I was looking for social connections, a friend invited me to Menlo Park Rotary Club. And I found people are very friendly. I love the environment there. So I looked locally and came to one of these Wednesday meetings. And to my surprise, I heard announcement of Climate Action Committee. What? I couldn't believe my ears. Wow, that beautiful dream, that door is wide open for me here. As I was sharing this news with my best friend and neighbor, she said, I've never seen you so excited, so happy before. You know, so this is really a miracle in my life. I'm so excited to join the team and to protect our environment. Okay, by the way, just 1 second. If you attend a Zoom, attend this meeting through Zoom and haven't met the chat monitor yet, here she is. Hi.
Congratulations. Man, I haven't seen someone so happy to join our club in years. Fantastic. All right, speaking of happy to be here, we've got Douglas Smith coming up to talk about the next big thing for our Fun and Friendship Committee, and it's not that big. It's mini.
Oh, yes. So we have coming up the annual Bryan Adams Mini Masters tournament. It's going to be at the Emerald Hills Golf Course on April 22nd at 10 a.m. And how do we start the... Oh, there's no... All right, so this is our mini master. It's a lot of fun. It's family friendly, so bring your kids, bring your family, put together your own team of 4 people or more, or just show up and we will put you together with some other lovely Rotarian golfers. So it's going to be at the Emerald Hills Golf Course, Saturday, April 22nd, starting at 10 a.m. There will be an awards ceremony at noontime. And the cost is $35 for adults, $10 for your children. There's a sign up, or there's bulletins on your table for signing up, paying. You can sign up out in the foyer. But so some of the awards that we have to give out will be, there's the most hole-in-one awards. There's the best dressed golfer award. There's the greatest putts award. These are just a few of the awards. There's the cockiest player award. There's the Jacques Cousteau award. Right, you know, how many balls you lose in the water. There's the Happy Gilmore award. And then there's the WTF award. So just show up. Love to have you there. Please sign up today so we can get this going. We just have a couple weeks to go. Thank you.
Thank you, Doug. And I'm planning to be there because I think it's the only opportunity I have to actually beat one of my children at a game these days. So I'm looking forward to it. All right, Bill Schro, I know you're here someplace. And we're going to have a look back. Bill, thank you for doing this. You've been through a lot. You've been through a lot this month.
Does anyone know who this is?
The most interesting man in the world.
Okay. In his lifetime, he was known as the Dean of American Poetry, the Laureate of Labor, and the Poet Highwayman. He attended San Jose Normal School in the 1870s, graduating in 1872. Among his career, he was a teacher, he was a school administrator, he was a poet, he was a lecturer, he was a champion of social causes, and apparently he was a very good donor to the normal school, today San Jose State. He became world famous, which was, we don't know who he is anymore. That's what is fascinating when I find these things at History San Jose. I'm like, who is this person? He became world famous when he wrote his poem called The Man with a Hoe in 1898 at his home at 3 432 South 8th Street. Luckily, the house was saved, and it's now one of our homes at History Park. It is the home of the Poetry Center of San Jose today. The poem was based on the painting of the same name, the same name that was painted by French artist Jean-Francois Millet. The poem became an embodiment of the suffering of the oppressed labor throughout the world. The gentleman's name is Edwin Markham. Edwin became known as a social reformer, and he became known as the first American poet that was world famous in the social movement and in the labor movement. Back. There we go, they're backwards, okay. Now I'm gonna move to 1901. Markham was commissioned to write a poem about Abraham Lincoln for the centennial of Abraham Lincoln's birth by the Republican Party. And here's the cool part about that poem. In 1922, he was invited to be the lead speaker at the dedication of the Lincoln Memorial. And that's where I found all these pictures of him with President Harding and Vice President Coolidge and right on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial, and Chief Justice William Howard Taft. His poem, he said, "Mr. President, Mr. Taft, and the representatives of the American people, no poem, no oration can rise to the level of this historic hour. Nevertheless, on this great day of dedication, I humbly inscribe this revised version of my Lincoln poem to this memorial, to this far-shining monument of remembrance erected in memorial marble to the honor of the deadless martyr, the consecrated statesman, the ideal American, and the ever-beloved friend of humanity." Markham would end his days at his home in Staten Island, New York in 1940, and his biographer in his obituary predicted he would be known around the world as the first real poet of labor. I even found that they named a Liberty ship in his honor during World War II. Those were the cargo ships that came out of California. And unfortunately, Edwin Markham's name today has been forgotten, unless you are a student of poetry. So again, I never know what I'm going to uncover in the vaults, in the shelves of History San Jose. And here's a famous San Josean that his name has unfortunately been forgotten, unless you're part of the poetry community.
And I'm pretty sure there's a Markham Hall at San Jose State, and now I know who it's named after. And I went there, so. Okay, next up, we've got not Vincent Seri, but playing the part of Vincent Seri today, we've got Pat Frawley to come up and talk to us about the next big project and give us our latest update. Pat, come on up.
Thank you, President Sal. Hello, everyone. How you doing? So Vince has asked me to talk a little bit about the next big project, and also specifically the vehicle that we're going to be purchasing, which is going to be a mobile, which is going to be a mobile medical unit that's going to be operated. Essentially, it's going to be, let's say, owned and maintained by Catholic Charities, and then it's going to be operated by Rotacare Bay Area, and also the Knights of Malta. And so ultimately, we're very excited about the partnership between our club and those three other organizations here. And ultimately, it's going to be a 38-foot vehicle. And it's right now we're in, let's say, deep conversations with a company called CT Coachworks, which is down in Riverside, California. And they're going to be manufacturing this vehicle for us. And ultimately, because Rotacare has the medical license and they're going to be doing a lot of the care, they've been very actively involved in kind of really understanding what features that they need to outfit this vehicle with, so that it can not only be, have a positive impact on underserved communities right now, but also for years and years ahead. So I know y'all may or may not be able to see all these details, but in summary, we're going to have 2 exam rooms, and we're actually going to have 2 entrances. We're going to have actually 2 pop-outs, which are going to create more space for each exam room. We've done a significant amount of research in how not only we can supply care in the unit, with a doctor in the unit, but also telehealth, which we feel like is going to be a much larger part of medical care moving forward. And so ultimately, we're very, very excited. And I guess the crux of the next big project is that this club has got a significant sum of money to invest in a capital purchase. This bus, or this mobile medical unit, is going to be that capital purchase. But I want to stress that the real big plus here to the community is the partnership between our club, between the Knights of Malta, between Catholic Charities, and between Rotacare, which is really going to be providing that necessary care and outreach to the community here in San Jose and a little bit more broadly here in Santa Clara County. So anyway, thank you very much, and we're very excited about this project.
Thank you, and thank you for all the work the committee's doing. We are going to move along quickly. Catherine, come up and talk to us about an event the Military Care Committee has going on.
Thank you, everyone. Could I ask that we just scroll through the slides that I've presented in no particular order? I want to invite all of you to a mixer that the Military Care Committee is hosting at Gordon House in a couple of Fridays. And you have flyers on your table. I hope you'll take a look and sign up. There's no cost. When the Military Care Committee thinks about our work with veterans, I think it's a lovely connection. It's a lovely alignment between veterans who truly put service above self on behalf of our country, on behalf of all of us. And I think as Rotarians who believe in service above self, the least we can do is honor them and provide them the opportunities in exchange for the service they have provided us. They're looking for leadership opportunities, mentoring opportunities, professional opportunities, and we're in a room full of people who are successful professionals. It'll be relaxed, it'll be fun. We have about 30 veterans students at San Jose State who have already signed up for this event, so I hope we can have a nice, robust turnout on their behalf. These slides are some of the service projects that the Military Care Committee has done, and in every case, these veterans come out and they help out, whether it's Fish Day, the Veterans Day Parade, our Operation Care and Comfort Care Package Assembly. They've been just a wonderful partner to this club, and I hope we'll return that favor at this mixer. Thank you.
Thank you, Catherine. Sounds like a fantastic time. I hope you can all be there. Okay, next, how many of you were at the gala over on Saturday? Yeah, okay. Wasn't that a great time? I want to thank everyone who worked on it, on the committee, everyone who was there. It was so incredible, a highlight of my year. But I especially want to thank the chair of the committee who took on this amazing project, and that, of course, is our president-elect, Heather Lerner. Heather, can you come up here? Next up, we're going to do a really quick, they seem to be always quick now, Taste of San Jose. And this one is on one of my favorite places to get Mexican pan dulce, and that is Mexico Bakery. How many of you have heard of Mexico Bakery before? Okay, a few of you. The rest of you, shame on you. It's a great place. It was founded in 2000 by an immigrant, Melchor Landon Ramirez. He passed away of COVID a couple of years ago. But his sons now operate their 3 restaurants. They've got one on Alum Rock Avenue, one on Story Road, and one right across the street on Santa Clara and 3rd. And let me tell you, they are famous for their tortas. They were just named best tortas in San Jose, but I usually stop in there for a little pan dulce. For those of you who aren't familiar with Mexican sweetbread, here's a quick little glossary. I'm not going to read all this out to you, but you can know when you're ordering a concha or a cuernito, which is shaped like a horn, or a puerquito, which is shaped like a pig. And of course, I also brought some with me. Now, normally I would do a trivia contest for these, but I'm not going to do that today because I want to say thank you to a couple of important people. One of them is Matt Robin, who was our auctioneer at the gala on Saturday, did a fantastic job. And I'm going to give these to Matt and have him share them with the entire AV team back there, who really helped us out last week during a trouble spot and have been doing a great job all year. So Matt, you come up and get these. Okay, and last, before we get to our speaker, who we're running a little late on, the Unhoused Impact Committee, of course, has their hygiene kit assembly this Saturday at Block Construction, not Black Construction, Block Construction at the back of the building. If you can help out, please contact Sarah Janigan for any other details. Saturday morning. The more people we have, the faster it goes. Now, Jason Laker, can you come up here and please introduce us to our speaker?
Hello, everybody. I'm Jason Laker. I'm been in our club for about 12 years or so. And interestingly and strangely, I also am on the supervisory committee of Merrill West Credit Union. I say strangely because I'm an education professor at San Jose State, not an accountant, but what can I say? I have the honor of introducing our speaker today, Lisa Pesta. And she joined the San Jose-based Merrill West Credit Union in 2000, and in 2013 she was promoted to Chief Operating Officer, managing digital strategy, retail operations, operational support, marketing, human resources, training, and facilities. Since she was already running most of it anyway, in 2022 she was named as the Executive Vice President, and then last month at the Board of Directors named Lisa as the new President and Chief Executive Officer of the $2.2 billion credit union. She holds a Bachelor of Arts degree in Leadership and Organizational Development from St. Mary's College of California. It is my honor to welcome our speaker, Lisa Pesta.
Thank you, Jason. I appreciate that. So as Jason said, my name is Lisa Pesta, and I'm the current President and CEO of Merrill West Credit Union. And I have been the president for about a half of a minute. Maybe I think I'm in my 6th week, I'm not sure, but very early. But as Jason said, I have been with the credit union for 22 years. When Arthur Jew, who's one of your club members, asked me to speak today and share about how the failure of Silicon Valley Bank may have impacted a local financial institution, in this case, a credit union, I was happy to do it. Okay, I'll step up there and do that. But then he shared with me that your organization has had US presidents, California governors, Condoleezza Rice, and all of a sudden I just want to say I apologize that you have me for the next 20 minutes. And then hearing some of your club members, I'm even more impressed with this organization. Merrill West has always had a representative through the Rotary Club, and now I see why. I'm very, very impressed and excited to be here today. So let's go ahead and move in. Oh, I forgot to go to my first slide. So this is actually our Merrill West building. This is our headquarters. And what you can't see is we had a double rainbow over our building that day, and we thought it was a great, fabulous picture. So that is our headquarter building. So let's talk about who is Silicon Valley Bank and who are their customers. So they were a $200 billion organization whose customers were primarily venture capitalists, very elite, high net worth individuals. They looked at life sciences. They partnered and banked with, kind of the muckety-mucks within Silicon Valley. That is a very different model than what Merrill West Credit Union is. Credit unions in general, oh, I'm so sorry. Credit unions in general, that's the Italian in me. Credit unions in general and local banks are really primarily focused on individuals as customers. However, when this got announced, we don't know who understands what banking model. So we wanted to make sure that we reacted. But before we go there, let's kind of talk about how Silicon Valley got to the point of failure. A number of things happened. One, interest rates were at near zero, and they invested in what is usually typically safe US government bonds. Bonds are a key word here. During the pandemic, as many of you may be aware, or if not, I'm going to tell you, deposits ballooned for all financial institutions, mostly because I don't think we had anywhere to spend our money. Of the deposits, I want to explain this, of the deposits at Silicon Valley Bank, over 90% of their deposits were uninsured. To give you a perspective of that, banks have an average of about 36%, credit unions at about 9% of uninsured deposits. And West, and I could probably check with my other local credit unions and local banks, we sat at about 13% uninsured deposits, probably because we're in the heart of Silicon Valley. So then what happens? The Fed gets involved and to tame inflation, they start rising rates. So as the rates rose, bond portfolios dropped. The cost of borrowing increased, and the companies that banked with Silicon Valley Bank, they no longer really wanted to borrow. It was too expensive, but they had a lot of money sitting there, so they started to withdraw their funds. At this point, Silicon Valley Bank sat on a mountain of unrealized losses in bonds as the customers started to withdraw their money. Then they had to sell their securities at a loss in order to fund their own operation and to shore up their balance sheet. Now, this made the venture capitalists very uneasy, and they started to inform their customers to take out their money from the bank. A run on the bank now begins. Their stock plummets, and the FDIC intervenes. So on Friday, March 10th, the FDIC announces that they have taken over receivership of Silicon Valley Bank. So that's a simple timeline as to what happened, but I want to tell you kind of the impact of what I know. I can speak for my own credit union. I believe I can speak for the credit unions that are local here, and I also think I can speak for the small community banks on the impact of what happened. Before I do that, though, I just want to point out that everything I just reported is not a unique or original thought. These are the sources where I received information. I know that all of you couldn't turn on the radio, couldn't turn on the TV. We almost still can't without hearing something about this. But these were legitimate places that I went to do research, to read about it, that I was looking. So I want to make sure I give credit to where the information came from. I'm sure my academic friend here is happy with that. So what was West's call to action? So I came in that morning and our employees were already emailing me, texting me, are you alert? Are you aware? You know, they're trying to protect their brand new CEO, who's now being CEO baptism by fire, for sure. So I created a staff email letting them know we are safe and sound, and be okay with this. We launched training so they can start talking to our members. There's a calculator that the NCUA puts out. But before I even talk about that, the NCUA is a different governing body than the FDIC. And that's who governs credit unions, is the NCUA. So making sure our employees understood this, that they could help our members through this time of uneasiness for them. We launched this calculator that allows you to understand how you're insured, because some people may not know that you actually can be insured for greater than $250,000. But like, what's published is the NCUA and FDIC insure up to around $250,000. We wanted to make sure that we had our wealth manager prepare, speaking points, so that as customers called us, we could do this. And then we spent the weekend making sure that everything we were saying was true. So our finance team spent that weekend working on creating our deposit. What do our deposits look like? How is West going to hold up if on Monday morning there's a run on our credit union? We also sent out a member communication, and we had that member communication out early Friday, letting them know that we were safe and sound. So we went in to prove it. So West has a diversified member deposit portfolio. And in this stress simulation, I want to remind you as I say these words that we're talking about a simulation, okay? The deposit outflow was assumed. So we took the worst case scenario. A run on our bank come Monday morning would happen all in March. We wouldn't even make it to April, that all in March would come in. We also assumed that our borrowing capacity was greatly reduced. We really wanted to take some really great scenarios and make worst case. So under the most extreme, so I think we did 3 different scenarios, and under the most extreme case, it would trigger a sell of our variable bonds at a potential 1% loss. So the reason why it was such a low loss amount is because a couple of years ago, and I'll give the credit to my old CEO because I can't even take the credit, even though I was on her team, we had already developed an investment strategy that we put in place, and we've been following it diligently. We try to make a plan and stick with it and not kind of go by the seat of our pants as things come up, right? So we also have a rigorous liquidity policy that governs daily practice of our liquidity management. We focus on interest rate risk, and we focus on diversifying the loan and the investment portfolio. So to recap kind of what I just said, if there was a potential run on the bank at AmeriWest, we would be okay. We would still be sound and safe for our members. And I'm grateful, so very grateful that this was just a dry rehearsal. Now, we did this from Friday to Sunday. So thank goodness the FDIC on Sunday, I believe it was March 12th, came out and said, no depositors are going to lose their money at Silicon Valley Bank. And I believe, and I think if there's other bankers in the room, we could believe that that statement helped make Monday morning a lot more smooth and relaxing than it might have been had they not come out and said it. Now, I think a future speaker for you guys, maybe a year from now, would be, they said that none of this is going to be borne by the taxpayers. So the bailout of SVB is not going to be borne by the taxpayers. I don't always believe what's said. I'd like to see a year from now if we're paying taxes on this. So that could be a future speaker for you guys. So we came in Monday morning and we, took a sigh of relief. Our customers were calling. They had few questions, but they had confidence in our credit union, confidence that we got our email out so quickly. And I know a lot of the other financial institutions and local banks were also contacting their customers, letting them know we're okay. Now, we might have been breathing at that point, but did not take us off of high alert. We're still on high alert, let's be honest. It's just all over the news. And we're closely monitoring our member deposits and large, wire withdrawals. So it's something that we're paying attention to. So then I thought I would give you a little bit of feedback on who's AmeriWest. So we opened our doors in 1961 as IBM Federal Credit Union. I am also a local girl. I was born at Los Gatos Community Hospital when it existed. So you might have been the firstborn, my hospital is no longer there. For those of you who are local and grew up in this area, you might remember how big the IBM campus was near South San Jose, Cottle Road, that whole area, which is now all built up with homes and retail. So we were their credit union. We were founded by IBM employees. And after IBM substantially left that area, we had to change our name, and then we became community. So the difference between maybe a credit union and a local bank, or even a B of A or Wells Fargo, is that we have what's limited to a field of membership. So this does kind of cause some misperceptions and some myths as to how you join a credit union. Even the name alone, credit union, is kind of like something we struggle with. Anyone who lives, works, worships, goes to school can actually join most of the local credit unions unless they're a single sponsor. Most of us are community at this point, and you can also join AmeriWest. Now, here on this slide, AmeriWest, as we said, we are award-winning, and we're very proud of that. We're a $2.2 billion credit union, and we're headquartered in San Jose. We have about 9 branches local throughout Silicon Valley. Without Santa Clara County, we have 2 additional ones that sit on site at the current IBM locations that are still in existence today. We offer a full suite of products: checking, savings, loan, full financial planning, as Ian's here. And also, I'm negligent, but we also have a full mortgage operation. So sorry to mortgage, thank God you're not here, letting you know that I slighted you here. We also spend a lot of time serving the community. Helen Grace Jones, who's in charge of our community, and I see Christina has joined us, they're out working with city team, doing financial educations, making sure that those who are underbanked and underserved in the community understands what banking is and how they too can participate in it. And through them, we have won a national and 2 state awards. And I'm very proud of that. We're also a Best Places to Work winner, and we've also been a Best Credit Union. So I think that that's important to know who we are and who you invited up today, or who Arthur invited up today. So I just thought, while I talk about what the credit union difference is, because I think we all have a place. The big banks, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, the local banks, Bank of the West, and the credit unions, we have a place to work together, that we serve different customers. And even if they're the same customers, we bring different things to the table. But I do want to share a couple of myths and misperceptions that you may have about credit unions, that I did when I joined. But credit unions are not convenient. That's a myth. That's what we hear all the time. And that's not necessarily true, because credit unions have banded together to make sure that if you join one credit union, you can bank at another credit union. Now, we are not as convenient as Wells Fargo and B of A. We do not have a branch on every other corner, nor can we. We just don't have that level of depth. But if you belong to a credit union, talk to them, because you could maybe do business closer to your home or where you work. Another myth is that we are not as savvy with technology, and that may be true in some cases, depending upon the size of your credit union. AmeriWest is very technology savvy. In fact, we just launched our new online and mobile banking, and we're very proud of it once we get through. So that was another thing. I joined during the launch as CEO, and then the Silicon Valley thing. I'm like, people are starting to think that maybe I'm the problem. So we'll find out if there's another issue. And then another myth or misperception, and you're going to see that I'm going to reverse that on you, is that credit unions are very customer focused. And that is 100% true. We are all about the customer, because it's been our defining moment. It's been our opportunity. We can't compete with Bank of America on every corner. We can't compete with, Wells Fargo, all of their, whatever it is. So we have to make sure that when people come in, that they feel good about doing business with us, and they feel that their money is safe and secure. I read an article in Yahoo, and some regulatory experts came out and said that credit unions are a very safe and sound place to put your money. We have members, not shareholders. We primarily focus on individuals. We typically do not have the same level of risk exposure. We try to be more diversified, and a greater percentage of our deposits are insured. So to wrap up, kind of what have we learned? What are we doing? What do we make sure we're doing? A deposit run on any financial institution is a nightmare for all financial institutions. We have to continue to have good understanding of our deposit portfolios. This allows us to build effective strategies to mitigate and address the risk. We currently conduct quarterly deposit studies, and we use these studies to make sure that we make really good decisions, especially as interest rates move. How quickly are we moving? We closely monitor our deposit trends, and we take swift action. We have access to multiple sources of reliable liquidity if needed. So as you all know, we live in an ever-changing world, and management and our board of directors need to keep our eye on the ball and stay on top of our policies, our practices, and strategies. And the failure of the Silicon Valley Bank reminds us all to never kind of get lazy in that area. AmeriWest has strong and loyal customers, and I was proud during this time to actually be a credit union. I was very grateful, and I feel like if you're in a community bank, you felt the same way. We have a different model. We're able to get to our customers quickly. Safety and soundness is our forefront, and our customers are our number one focus. So that's all I had today. I invite questions. I brought my team here because they could answer anything that I might not be able to answer. But thank you for your time.
Let's get a microphone to Arthur to start your question.
Are you guys ready? Okay.
Go ahead.
So is this a harbinger of future failures of the big banks? Not necessarily the banks too big to fail. And second, isn't what we're going to see is people, big depositors, pulling their money out of the local banks and putting them into the banks that are too big to fail?
You know what? That is something that we're concerned about. There's no question that's true. I mean, with inflation, money is being spent right now. So deposits in all financial institutions. But yes, but let's just start off with the fact that I said Silicon Valley Bank was a $200 billion organization. They were a big bank. Now they're not at the level of a Bank of America, JP Morgan Chase, and all these other banks. And yeah, that is one of our fears for sure. It's not happening right now. It's not happening at our current credit union. I'm sorry.
Is it happening at the local bank? That people are pulling, the companies are pulling their money out of the local bank and putting them into banks and doing the bank.
That's not necessarily, Arthur, as somebody who works at a local bank, it's Janica.
Okay.
That's not necessarily true that they're pulling money.
They're
There's different ways that you can get your FDIC coverage. So we're not seeing that is what I'm.
And we're not seeing that either. So.
Okay. Finn.
Yes, I've noticed, and it hasn't been, we haven't read about this, but life insurance companies have large government loans with those low interest rates. And I know that if they hold it to term, I guess they don't have to declare it. But wouldn't they, no matter how big they are, with those huge amounts of low interest loans, wouldn't they have lost money for this year?
I would imagine that they have unrealized losses. It's whether or not they have to sell it. And one of the things that Silicon Valley Bank had hold to maturity, and then they had to sell it at a loss. So I guess if they didn't have to have sold it, had maybe the venture capitalists stepped up and helped them help fund their organization so they wouldn't have to do this, we may be in a different situation. So they're sitting on unrealized losses.
Yes, but I know that the people could take out their cash values, but that's not FDIC approved. I mean, that's not covered insurance-wise, and I'm just saying that that's not likely to happen, but this loss because of the interest rate increase really spreads across the field, and I thought life insurance would be one of those areas affected, even though I haven't read anything about it.
I haven't either, and I'll let Ian, as he comes from you might give a better perspective on.
Hi, I'm Ian, Head of Wealth Management at Meriwest. It's a great question, but life insurance companies are well capitalized. Someone correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm sure everybody here remembers 2008, right? Too big to fail, all these bank failures. How many life insurance companies went down in 2008? That answer is 0. So what you said, one key thing that you said in your question is held to maturity. Like Lisa says, I'm sure they have some unrealized losses in their portfolio, but a life insurance company is very different. It operates differently from a bank. They don't have VCs or startups that require that capital instantaneously. So even if the values of what they hold has gone down, they don't need to sell at a loss. They have time, right? On top of being well capitalized. So, I think the shakeup is good. I think what Lisa said, one thing that the feds did, that the administrators did on Sunday really, really helped to avoid a big catastrophe. And I think it's a good wake-up call to the insurance companies, to the banks, whether it's big, small, regional, local credit unions. I think everybody's doing a lot of stress tests now. Yep. And I think a result of that is just we're going to come out stronger than ever.
Thank you.
Hello, Giannica Clem, proud Meriwest member since the late 80s. Thank you. But I also wanted to share just a little bit about community banks and the question that Arthur asked about are people starting to move to some of the larger banks. The thing that you need to keep in mind with, and I appreciated you shared this about credit unions, is that community banks also serve a purpose in keeping the money local. So the more people that we can have at community banks, especially on business banking, we're able to reinvest that money in the local community. So the idea that people would move to some of the big banks is actually a bigger stress on our local community than I think people have thought through. The other thing that's important to keep in mind is the reason why so much of the SVB deposits were uninsured is because of the size of them. They were huge. So now everybody is very aware of the $250,000 FDIC threshold, which I'm hoping that there will be a revisit on and up, just like it did in 2008 from 100,000 up to 250. Let's hope that it moves up to 500 because business accounts, a majority of them have a much larger deposits. But the thing to keep in mind about that too is that you want to watch your bank's loan to deposit ratio. And SVB's was up at 100, and a healthy bank is around 80 to 85%. some local bank around here that I might happen to have a desk at was around 75%. So it's just something as a consumer you want to be careful of and cautious of. And there are now products that are offering you opportunities to FDIC insure your hold.
Thank you. Oh my goodness, yes.
Jake, will you get a microphone to whoever? And I saw 3 hands go up in this area.
I'll be your whoever. The one thing I'm not hearing, I'm enjoying the talk, but I'm not hearing about the technology of communications. In the past, somebody might say, hey, I'm worried about our bank. And then they might tell 2 friends and so on. But it spread around slowly. Today in our interconnected society, somebody says something and everybody's banging on the door. What will protect banks from that going forward? Thank you.
Yeah, that is a really good question. And, you know, we were actually just having this conversation about the speed of communication. And some person who may start I mean, obviously Silicon Valley Bank wasn't just a rumor, but they may just start something that could cause this. And I think you just have to be on high alert for it. We live in that kind of fear every day when, you know, as we post these things, as we put our name out there, as we, you know, make ourselves public, that communication, all we can do is try to get in front of it. And I think that's what probably all of our local FIs would say, is just getting in front of it.
Okay. Vince.
Thanks for your talk today. My question is about the held to maturity portfolios. The regulators allow you to not mark to market those securities, so it really represents a false valuation of the assets for the financial institutions. Do you think the regulators should change that requirement?
I think we're going to see some regulatory scrutiny that's going to come down differently, and we are looking at expecting those type of things to happen. I know I read something today that said, oh, the regulators are saying there's not going to be greater scrutiny, and I disagree. I think they're going to come in and start to, and I'm hoping they just give us time so that we're able to measure it and stress test it ourselves. But yeah, I do think that those things are going to happen exactly right, especially with things like held to maturity shares. Just for anyone, is more, if you just think CDs, you know, you go in for a time limit, and that's kind of what a held to maturity share is. So,
Dave.
Yeah, pardon my ignorance on this whole thing, but I'm not hearing about consequences. Why worry about going to 250 or higher when, oh, they're just going to step in and save it anyway? Where are the consequences, and should there be for SVB and its management teams?
no, I don't know that I'm, you know, until the research is done and the investigation, that I should be giving an opinion on that. But I do think that if, you know, I don't believe that it's not going to be borne on the taxpayer. I think we're going to pay through it through either through taxes or through higher bank fees or whatever, that we've already been trying to reduce bank fees and trying to get rid of junk fees and trying to make, you know, smart decisions there. I don't know what that accountability is going to do. I mean, for them to bail it out helped, I think, all of us in this room, but yeah, I think they're going to have to come up with what the consequences should be. I mean, it was, you know, I heard, and again, I don't know what's fake news, but I heard that their bonuses dropped, you know, the week before or the day of this, you know, like, really, you should have been thinking as management team. I'll be like, okay, we're not getting bonuses until this situation, you know, is more stable. So I do believe in consequences. I believe that what we're trying to do as an organization is look through those, because at some point there'll be consequences. Like, they may get away with it, but at some point they can't bail everybody out. That's my opinion on that.
Okay, last question, Brian?
Yeah, I was going to mention, I think this problem could be solved very quickly by just lifting FDIC insurance. And this contagion started, and you look at the banks that failed, and there's, I think it was a $14 billion loss already. And I guess what my question is, why are they not acting now, and why are they waiting for banks to fail before they guarantee all the deposits? Yellen made a comment that blew me away. And I just want to know what your thoughts were on, are they going to lift this, or are they going to wait until there's a lot more damage?
I mean, I think that's a really tough question. I think that they are going to, I feel like that's why the regulators have to have a higher scrutiny over this going forward, if I'm answering your question properly, because they had people on site there, I think from the FDIC or the DFP, I'm not sure, where we're overseeing them. So I feel like they're going to do a better job making sure their examiners are asking tougher questions. That's what we're expecting. Did I answer that question? No. Why they're not, yeah. Right. Yeah.
He asked you to explain government.
Yeah, I'm almost at a loss for that, but I'll do some research over the next year, and I'll come back and give a talk on that.
Thank you, Lisa. We appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
Seriously, you will need to come back in a year, and we'll see what's come true and what hasn't. We'd like to thank you for your speech, and on your behalf, we've made a contribution to History San Jose, which is helping to preserve our city's heritage, including the banking heritage. And next week, our speaker will be Maya Ackerman, speaking on another timely topic, generative AI and the future of human creativity. So till then, keep the good times rolling, and we'll see you next week.